You know that feeling, right? It's Sunday night, you're lying in bed, scrolling through productivity videos, someone's showing their 5 a.m. routine, workout, journaling, the whole thing. And for a moment, you actually feel it. That spark, that sense of possibility. You think, tomorrow I'll be that person. You make the plan, set the alarms, and for a moment, planning feels like becoming. But here's the uncomfortable truth. You haven't. By Tuesday afternoon, the routine is already broken. The alarms are snoozed. The plan is buried under a dozen browser tabs of other productivity videos you watched instead of actually starting. And the strangest part? You don't feel like you wasted your time because you were learning, right? You were growing. You were doing something. Except you weren't. You were consuming the feeling of change without actually changing anything yet. And your brain rewarded it just enough to make it feel like progress. Let me say that again. Your brain can mistake the emotional reward of learning for the real progress of doing. And that's not because you're broken. It's because the reward system is easy to trick. See, here's what's actually happening inside your head. Dopamine is strongly tied to anticipation, the feeling that something rewarding is coming. So the planning, the watching, the highlighting in your self-help book, all of that can give you a small emotional payoff before you have actually done anything. You watch a video about building better habits, you feel a rush. That feeling is real. But the feeling isn't I've changed, it's I'm about to change. And to your brain, those two things can feel dangerously close. Almost identical. Almost. The feeling is real, the progress is not. And that's the trap. You're not addicted to learning, you're addicted to the feeling that you're about to change. Think about it. How many self-help books are on your shelf right now? How many courses have you started but never finished? How many times have you watched a video titled, "How I Changed My Life in 30 Days, late at night, convinced you had finally found the secret, only to wake up the next morning and do nothing? It's not because you're lazy. It's not because you lack discipline. It's because your brain already got part of its reward. The emotional payoff happened during the input, not the output. And once you felt that little rush of, I'm going to be better, the actual hard work of being better starts to feel optional. From a behaviorist perspective, your brain doesn't change because you understand something. It changes because you do something, get feedback, and repeat the loop. You act, reality responds, you adjust, then you act again. That's how habits form. That's how behavior actually changes. But input addiction short-circuits that loop. You replace action with information. You replace feedback with feelings. And your brain, trying to be efficient, starts to prefer it that way. Because thinking about going to the gym takes way less energy than actually going. Let me give you a real example. Imagine someone who wants to build a side business. They watch every How I Make 10K a Month video they can find. They save dozens of posts on marketing strategy. They join 3 Discord communities about entrepreneurship. They consume content for hours and hours, and they feel productive. They feel like they're in the game. But they've never actually talked to a single potential customer, not once. Because the moment they pick up the phone and pitch their idea to a stranger, the illusion shatters. The comfort of I'm learning gets replaced by the discomfort of I might fail. And that's the real reason we stay in input mode. It's not just that it feels good, it's that it protects us from feeling incompetent. Information gives you control, or at least the illusion of it. As long as you're still learning, you haven't failed yet. You're not avoiding the work, you're preparing. You're not scared, you're being strategic. You're not stuck, you're building a system. And that sounds mature, but often it's just fear wearing productivity clothes. Except soon never comes, because the brain doesn't measure readiness by what you know, it measures readiness by what you've done. And if you've done nothing, the anxiety doesn't go away. It just gets buried under another video, another book, another plan. The cruel irony is that the more you consume, the harder it gets to start. Every new framework you learn adds another layer of "I should be doing it perfectly." Every new success story you hear makes your own starting point feel more embarrassing. You're not building confidence, you're building pressure. And eventually, the only thing that feels safe is learning more. And here's the thing. You don't need a personality overhaul. You don't need to quit YouTube or throw out your books. Self-improvement content is not the problem. The problem is when it becomes a substitute for the thing it was supposed to help you do. The loop can be broken with surprisingly small moves. There are 3 of them. First, the one input, one output rule. For every video you watch, every article you read, every podcast you listen to, do one small thing based on it. Not tomorrow, not later, right now. Watch the video about morning routines, set one alarm and wake up to it once. Just once, that's it. Read an article about journaling? Write 3 sentences. Not 3 pages, 3 sentences. The point is not to be perfect. The point is to teach your brain that information is only valuable when it's connected to action. You're retraining the reward system. You're closing the loop. Second, replace planning with exposure. Stop designing the perfect system. Start doing the messy version. Want to work out? Don't spend 2 hours researching the optimal beginner routine. Put on your shoes and walk for 10 minutes. That's exposure. Want to write? Don't outline the whole book. Open a blank document and write one bad paragraph. The brain learns from contact with reality, not from hypothetical preparation. And reality is always messier than the plan. But that mess is where the real learning happens. Third, measure behavior, not motivation. Stop asking yourself, do I feel motivated? Start asking, what did I actually do? Keep a behavior log. It doesn't need to be fancy. Just a simple list. Today I did X. Today I did Y. Today I did nothing. No judgment, no narrative, just data. Because motivation is a feeling, behavior is a fact, and your brain will only change when the facts start to stack up. You've heard pieces of this before, but hearing it and doing it are 2 completely different neural events, which is exactly the point. Did you do it? That's the question. Not do you understand this, not does this make sense, but did you actually do it? Because understanding is comfortable, doing is not. And the part of your brain that wants to keep you safe, that wants to avoid discomfort, that wants to protect you from failure, it's going to whisper, just watch one more video, just read one more chapter, just make sure you really get it before you start. Don't listen. You already know enough to take the next step. Maybe not enough to be perfect, but enough to begin. The only thing standing between you and the person you want to become is not more knowledge. It's one ugly, imperfect, uncomfortable action. So here's my question for you. What is one thing you already know you need to do, but keep replacing with more learning? Not what you want to learn, not what you're planning to do, what you already know you should be doing, but aren't. Write it down. Say it out loud. Make it real. Because once you name it, you can't hide behind "I'm still learning" anymore. It stops being a vague dream. It becomes a choice. And that's where real change begins.